And here's the punchline to all of this. As the Prime Minister writes in one of the newspapers this morning, The Sun, here's the message. If you can't contribute to the UK, you're not coming to the UK. What's wrong with that? Works for me. Surely it should work for you. My granddad only got in because he was opening restaurants. He didn't just arrive. That surely should be the way, shouldn't it?
There's a lot of things that we need to be done to make it work. And we may have to spend money on employing the right people. But the big issue for me, Nick, why I rang in, is the idea that we needed immigration because we needed the cheaper labour in our hospitals and our care homes and care in the community. One of the worst aspects is that what I would say is everyone who comes to this country has got to, like Canada, learn English. When you are frail and perhaps your hearing's poor and the only person you see who comes through your door doesn't speak clear English to you, so you can't communicate, it's another form of torture for our isolated and lonely people.
But if you listen to the Vice Chair of the National Care Association earlier, she was telling us these folk have to have a 15-point module and go on a training course, which seems extraordinary level, because I'm not sure that's always reflected with the individual staff, is it? Do you think, Pam?
Nick, can I tell you, a lot of training today is all done on the web. Now, I don't think that real good training is learnt looking at a laptop or a phone. Right. It has to be on the job alongside the professionals who do the job. And this cheap labour idea, I remember I saw the advertisements for many nurses to come over from Thailand and Philippines. Mm-hmm. Lovely people. But of course, they need housing when they get here and many other services. Why are we not just training people in this country?
Well, the woman, I say again, from the National Care Association says they go to other jobs. They go to other better paid jobs, lastly. And that's what she
Well,
say.
I think we can all say this. I don't know about the evidence.
I was just started working this morning. I started at 7 and I was listening to the radio. And that is the moment I came to realize about this news. And I'm devastated about it because the thing is that I have a wife, I have a kid that's only 2 years old, and I wanted to bring them over. I have been working, paying loads of taxes every month, giving up my breaks because we are always short staff. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to work alternative weekends, and now I'm working both weekends. So it's really devastated for me. Because I'm always on the road working because I'm working for an agency and we're not doing a care home. I'm always on the road working and see, it's all devastated.
What attracted you to come and work in the UK, Zimran?
A better life because at the moment in the home country there were not so much jobs. Yes. Not so much jobs and we were having an economical crisis. So it was a good decision to move away, but I don't think it's anymore. I would pack up my things and go back.
When were you hoping to bring your family in?
Hopefully by the start of next year. I was planning to do everything by February or March, but now I'm just thinking of giving it up.
Well, I don't know. Have you actually started the process? Have you lodged have you put in any paperwork yet?
I've just started doing all the documentation, and now I've heard about this news this morning while I was on my job. And you see, every month I'm paying loads of taxes. I don't know why we are not allowed anymore.
Yes. Now, it may be that if you started the process, this might not apply to you. If you're unable to bring your wife and your son, you will go home?
Yes, I will definitely go back. Because the thing is that I have no one else. I have no sibling, no one else. So I was the only one looking after them. So can't do anything.
Okay, I understand that. And lastly, how many of your fellow colleagues that you work with in the industry, how many have similar stories in that they've come from other countries?
All of them. You see, in my company, I would say 70 to 80% are the foreigners, and they're still waiting to bring up their family because this was their plan to come in here and bring their family as well. Because if they're working here, they're supposed to have their family with them.
Yes.
And I still have loads of people that have already applied, have got visa, or are applying at the moment, and they were thinking to bring their family along with them. But I think when I will call them, I'll tell them about this story, they will give it up.
A bit on what's happening in terms of legal migration within the care sector. Mm-hmm. I have first-hand experience of it. I run a care business, and I listened and chuckled to the comments made by the minister, a few minutes ago. Mm. having been, had experience of the whole process for the last year and a half now, I just want to make a few points. The first being that the rules as they are set up now it's been set up by nobody who's got any idea about how the care sector works.
Right.
That's the first thing that we've got to understand.
Right.
In terms of the changes, yes, changes are needed, but I think the focus is completely wrong, because once again, what we're doing is trying to penalise and make scapegoats of the people that are actually coming over. And what people don't realise is that the reason why there is such a problem now is that the government, in the way they've set up the rules, have made it too easy. If you give me a minute, I'll tell you what is happening now in the recruitment process.
You've got exactly a minute. Go ahead, sir.
The rules at the moment make it so easy for companies to get visas, and remember, the government make quite a lot of money for each visa that's issued.
Yes.
So they make it so easy for companies to issue visas, and then they also make it very easy for those companies to be able to cancel those visas afterwards. So what we're doing now, we sponsored some people internationally originally, but all our sponsorship now is actually helping people that have come here, paid money for the visas, and then their companies, because they have the right to, will tell them, I'm sorry, I've got no work for you, go and find work somewhere else. And they can do it without any repercussions for themselves, and they can then just apply to get more visas and charge more fees. And that's why there's too many people coming in, and that's why the process is broken so far.
I think the two things are entirely different challenges. Legal migration done in the correct manner should absolutely be welcome. Mm-hmm. I think illegal migration is a challenge that the government do not even remotely have a handle on. And to be claiming, dare I say, the success over the boats, the decline in the number of boats year on year, I think is a bit of an insult to us in the public. I don't think that's got anything to do with the government. We keep hearing stories about how the seas are particularly rough and whatnot.
Yes. Do you ever think all boats will be stopped in reality?
Not under the current guidelines, I don't think, no.
But ever?
No. Certainly not with the measures that are in place at the moment.
Okay. Sorry, let's start over. Do you think the boats should be stopped completely, as Rishi Sunak suggested last January?
I think they should, unless they can get a handle on who is coming in, because we've heard many stories about people just dispersing into the countryside, and we actually don't even know who is in the country anymore.
So how would it be done, though, Steve? The stopping of the boats?
We've got to up the Coast Guards, haven't we? Simple as that. Coast Guards, potentially the Navy.
And lastly, what's more important to you, controlling legal migration, such as people coming into work in the care sector, or trying to control or indeed stop illegal migration? Which is bigger to you?
I think each has its own challenges, but from a security perspective, we've got to surely look at stopping illegal migration.